Okay. Hello. 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 Excuse me. Give me just one moment to clean my glasses here. You know what to do as soon as you start coming in. Excuse me a little. I'm a little asthmatic tonight, darling. I have the pulmonary sarcoidosis. Okay. Okay, there we go. Hello, True Crime Nicole's in the house. I adjusted my mic on where it is on my table, and it's not working out for me. I'm going to have to move it again. Fred? Fred, where have you been? Fred's in the house. Fred, where have you been? What's up, Beast and Beauties in the house? Oh, good. Hadn't seen you in such a long time. The Delta State. Send me a message. What's up, Carol? Fred's been busy. Yeah, I've been busy too. It's been a pretty heavy 2025 so far, as far as true crime is concerned. Ruby and Grandma is in the house. There are babies in the attic store here in PA close to me. Alicia, send me a message. What's up, Laura? We're going to let everybody come in here. I did make an event for this because it seems like people just stop by anyway. And then the event don't notify people. So it don't work anyway. So I didn't. But we do have a special guest tonight and a special interview. Oh, Fred. I'm sorry. If it makes you feel better, Fred, I just got my stomach liner to stop bleeding, only to find out that there is a body organ other than my stomach somewhere in my body that is bleeding. No, I don't have my uterus anymore, so it's impossible. So I've got to go for several tests, CTs, and whatnot. So if ain't one thing, it's another. Well, we ain't spring chickens anymore, Fred. Well, I guess we'll stop it up, sew it together. Whatever's happening, we're gonna throw it down. I'll be right back. Whatever they do, I'll come right back. I promise. Well, thank you all. Thank you so much for your prayers. I've just been dealing with medical stuff for 8 years now. Like, I don't know. It's quite. There's always, here's how I see it. There's always somebody. Did they start the super fan thing? Thank you, Alicia. We are waiting for a special guest. Let me know when you're in here. We're just going to give it a minute to let the crowd come in, and then I'm going to bring you up, and we're going to start with your story, okay? If any mods in here see Skinny Minnie, oh, there she is. Yes. So just a moment, and I'll send you an invite. Oh, Lord. Well, what do I have? I have 183 super fans. That means 183 people decided not to cancel. You guys are amazing. And if you want to become a super fan, I guess, I feel like I'm on the big YT right now. Just hit that super fan button. Am I saying it right? Oh no, where's the stickers? No, wait a minute. Oh, wait, True Crime Nicole, I don't see that you're a super fan. Is anybody else got to keep the stickers? If we don't have stickers, I'm going to throw down right now. Where are my stickers? They took away the stickers? And they've raised the sub price to a price that nobody can afford? I'm offended. The stickers was one of the best parts. Oh, throw it down right now. Oh my God. This is going to be a disaster. Let's not keep our guests waiting. We just hit 6,000 likes. We have 119 souls in this room. I want you to start. Does that still work? We don't know. It's changed. We don't know. There is someone at TikTok, and that's their only job, is to figure out how many times they can change it before anybody else figures out the last version. Kind of like the iPhone. Okay, we've got a special guest tonight. I'm going to pull up her story here. I've left my stand in the other room. Of course, you guys know I take notes, and so I don't lose where I'm at. There's a lot of stories that I cover, and so if I didn't have my notes, I'd be lost, totally lost. So the lady I'm going to bring up here has her own true crime story that she wants to tell you about. Her name is Alyssa. Say something so I can send you an invite in the comments. I'm not finding you on my list here. Could just say like, I'm here. There you are. Okay. Oh, give me just a second. Sorry. Hello.
Hi.
Let me get this layout right. Just a second.
There we go.
There
That's
we
better.
are. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody. This is Alyssa. If you are in this room right now, if you can, I want you to give her a follow, because not only is she going to share her story with us, but she'll be giving you, updates and answering questions in the comments and things. So you want to make sure you follow her. I look like I have no hair right now because these headphones are so bulky. I have it up in a ponytail, I promise.
That my hair is usually up in a bun, so I get it.
It looks like I just got earmuffs on. Okay. So, this live for you, for me, for anybody in the comments who can resonate with your story, is about healing. It's about being honest, being truthful, and sharing what happened to you in your own personal life, which we appreciate. It's personal to you, and for you to reach out and open up to with your story on TikTok is very brave, and it's going to help a lot of people recognize abuse and abuse patterns that they might be in right now, or it might encourage them to seek help. There's always somebody out there listening, and this entire live will be posted on the Big YT as well, so you can go back and watch it in case you miss anything. So, your story is really a testament to a life lived through unimaginable circumstances. You have this journey of navigating this complex family structure with people who have betrayed you, and hurt that you can never deviate from. It's going to be with you for your whole entire life. This is also about confronting profound trauma and emerging with an unwavering commitment to healing. Now, some folks in their young life, I'm a victim of trauma in my young life. I was a young SA victim. And so my trauma story might seem different from yours, but the underlying commonality is healing and
Correct.
understanding what has happened and to tell your story in order to help other people.
Yes.
So let me tell y'all that Alyssa is a devoted mother. She's a creator and she's an incredibly strong individual. I have watched her stories. I've watched her fun videos, which tells a lot about her personality. And her videos are raw, they're honest, they're impactful, they're resonating, all of the things that I could possibly tell you, which is why I encourage you to follow her and go watch her videos. Tell us, let's just start at the beginning.
Well, first I want to thank you for allowing me to get up here and share my story with you all and your followers as well. I know it's something it's just a crazy story, but it's something that I live with every day. I think about it every single day. And like I said, I don't go to therapy, and I feel like this is the best way to get it off my chest. And, I feel like it could really help someone that's in a similar situation. So I really appreciate you for allowing me to come up here and tell my story.
So let's start at the beginning. How old were you when this abuse? Well, begin by telling us your family dynamic. You have had a mother, a father, and a sister.
Yes. So my father and my mother, they both, before they met, were married. And my father had 2 children from a previous marriage, and my mother had my sister from a previous as well. And then together, it was my little brother, me, and my sister that all the things happened to. We all lived together. Now my stepsister, that my dad had the 2 kids, they did not live with us. So their relationship was much different with my mom and my dad than the children actually living in the home. So that's all of the characters in the story. But yeah, my father was put in prison when I was 13 years old, or 12 years old is when everything came out. But 13 was whenever he was put in prison. My sister was 18 at the time that everything came out as well. So that's kind of the background of the story that I'm going to tell.
Okay. There is a profound, I can't even express that enough to y'all, betrayal in this family. I've got a couple of emails I would like to read to you a little bit later on once she explains a little bit more about her story. And I'm going to give her a chance to respond to those things that the emails say publicly. And she's agreed to do that. She's already seen the emails and seen what they say.
Yes.
Now, I know that there are certain parts of this that you cannot talk about because it's your sister's story and it's for her to tell her story.
Right.
But just for context of where this family dynamic is going, can you tell us what happened with her vaguely?
Well, my father essayed my sister, and unfortunately, she was impregnated. So there was a child that resulted out of his actions. Now, the only thing I will speak on is the child is safe, the child was adopted, and that's as far as I'm going to take that.
So you had a mom and a dad, which was her stepdad.
Correct.
Now, when did the things that started happening with you happen, and start telling us a little bit about that?
So, when I was younger, right after I was born, pretty much, DCF was involved. My father had abused my sister pretty heavily, and DCF got involved. And like I said, I was just born. I was placed with my grandparents back in Pensacola, and my sister was placed with my mom's parents, which lived in South Florida. So there was a period of time that we were all separated. However, my mother and my father were still able to see me at my grandparents' house, and they were daily and things like that. Now, I'm not sure why DCF didn't see more going on there. It's just mind blowing to me how I guess my parents manipulated the system pretty much into thinking everything was peachy. So we were placed back in the home. And my mom was pregnant with my younger brother when we were placed back with my parents. And then as long as I can remember, my father was putting his hands on me. It didn't matter what object was in front of him, an extension cord, sticks out in the yard, throwing things at us with a belt, anything he could get his hands on and hurt us if he got upset with something we did, he was doing that. Mm-hmm. Can you give me just a second? Just one second.
Sure. All right, we have 25,000 likes and 185 souls in the room.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
So yes, as long as I can remember, up until I was 13 years old when he was put away, he was actively mentally abusive, physically abusive towards me and my little brother. So there was also, I was the middle child in the home, and my father ignored me a ton. He would play favorites with my sister, obviously, and my brother was a boy, so boy activities kind of thing. But I was kind of left out all the time. So
that breaks my heart.
Well, now that I'm an adult, I look back and I'm like, did I really want a relationship with my father? I'm kind of glad I was left out in a sense. So,
my father was an alcoholic. May he rest in peace. He's gone now. He's been gone for 20-something years. And he wasn't present in my life. And it affects you. I mean, I look back and I'm like, well, like for my 8th birthday, like everybody had to leave because my dad was out in the middle of the road with a weapon just throwing down. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was normal. Like that became a normal sense to me. And it wasn't like, oh, let me get the belt. I'm going to point a weapon at you and tell you to stop jumping on the bed or the couch.
Yeah. I had instances like that as well.
Abnormal.
Yeah. At one point in time, he had lined us children in the bed with my mother and said that he was going to put a through our head. And he was always drunk, very, very drunk all the time. So yeah. I don't know what it was with him, but he would give us time frames. He would say, you got 5 minutes to straighten up your attitude, or you got 2 minutes. And he would always do like these little countdowns. And it was just odd.
What is your earliest really bad memory of him like coming for you?
My earliest memory. I'm sure if I sat here long enough, I could really think about, you know, how young I was. I remember coming home from school and I would get beatings so bad that it got to the point where, as a little girl in second grade, I was putting leggings on, layers of leggings under my jeans because I knew when I got home I was going to get beat.
Jeez. God.
And I was in second grade at that time. My teacher, I would get in trouble for talking all the time or daydreaming in the classroom. And every week, my teacher would send home a report of how the week went, or attitude or behavior and things like that. And I knew if it said talking or anything like that, I was going to get beat. So I just went ahead and put leggings on to brace myself for what I knew was already coming. I mean, we're talking about a man that had our first target practice as kittens, the neighbor's baby kittens.
Oh my God. Where is he right now?
He's in prison.
Still in prison. Okay.
He's still in prison.
How much longer is he going to be there? Hopefully for forever.
Originally, it was supposed to be life plus an additional 30 years or 60 years. I can't remember exactly. However, he was able to get his sentence lessened. Now he gets out in 2039. When the judge sentenced him originally, I guess she did it improper. So he was able to get an attorney, and the attorney was able to prove that he was wrongfully sentenced. So it was dropped down to 30 years.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you fear what might happen when he gets out?
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. There's no telling the lengths he's going to go to when he realizes that he doesn't have anyone out here behind him, except for his mother, which is my grandmother. Unfortunately, I cannot myself do anything about my grandmother supporting him or communicating with him. That's her son. She's a little old lady that reads her Bible every single day, and she's been sheltered her entire life. She doesn't drive a car. So she communicates with him. And when he gets out and realizes that he's not going to be, supported, because she's more than likely not going to be around anymore. There's no telling the lengths he's going to go to hurt my sister or me or any of us, for that matter. Because at that point, what does he have to lose? He'll want to go back to prison rather than being homeless, because he is selfish, and he will hurt someone to get back there.
And there's nothing you can do. There's no parole. There's no
So there
board
is
you
a
can
lifetime
say.
injunction. There is a lifetime injunction between me, my younger brother, and my sister, the one that the things happened to. And I believe my mother as well. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. So when he gets out, I mean, I'm going to protect my family if I need to. Now, my other siblings, which are his direct kids, they don't have any protection against them. But I do know for a fact that when he gets out, there will be in place.
Can we talk about? I'm gonna switch to your mom.
Okay.
We have quite a few things to talk about there.
Mm-hmm.
You describe her as, quote, jealous over the relationship you have with your kids, quote, and a, quote, narcissistic, nasty person. And you even mentioned that you find peace and happiness knowing that your kids will never have to deal with such a person because your mom could never be the mother that you are to your children. So, this paints a super complex picture of this maternal relationship. Can you elaborate on this dynamic and how it intertwined with this larger family trauma?
Absolutely. So, like I've said before, as an adult, and now that I have my own children, and I know right from wrong, I could not imagine seeing my significant other do the things that my father did to us children and not protecting my children. There, there, there was just so much that she seen and she knew, and she refused to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
I will never, ever allow my children around anything remotely near what she allowed in her household. Now my mother knows that I'm a good mom. She knows how I raise my children. Well, she's never met my daughters, but she has met my son. And my son's father and I had split up, and things were fine. It was a clean break. Everything was fine. And I get into a relationship with my now significant other, and she didn't like that when I moved back in with her, that I wasn't giving her enough attention or enough time. I was focused on getting a job. I became a CNA, a med tech. I was doing great things for myself. And I'm also allowed to have a relationship outside of her. In her head, it's her timing. Everything has to be on her time. And she needs to control the situation. So whenever I step out and I start creating my own relationships, then it becomes an issue in her head. Then she has to find a problem with what I'm doing. So she goes to my son's father and his parents and spins a narrative that have my son around this horrible person that's on major hardcore rugs. Not true at all. Not true at all. And unfortunately, they believe it. I was in a situation where I had nowhere to go living wise. So I moved in with my significant other's best friend's parents. That's difficult to understand. They were letting me rent a room from them, and I did not feel comfortable having my child in that environment. So I asked my son's father, hey, this is what's going on at this time. I cannot live with my mother because what she is doing. Can you please, pretty much have majority of custody until I'm able to get my things together?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of putting my child in a situation that I know he shouldn't be in a home he shouldn't be in, I choose the safest route. So while she's over there spinning this narrative and they're seeing that I'm asking for my son to be placed with his father, and it just all in their head clicked together, like I'm doing these wrong things. I'm not putting my son first, when in reality, I'm doing everything in my power to get out of that living situation by working. I'm doing everything I can. She had a blow up on them. She tried telling my son that when he goes to school and someone picks on him or talks to him any sort of way, that he needs to haul off and punch them in the face. Mind you, my son is a very soft-hearted, kind boy. He is 8 years old. That's not how I want my child to be raised, and that's not how my son's father wants my son to be raised. So they had an issue with that, and my mom just blew things out of proportion, and they finally saw that I wasn't I wasn't crazy. I had been telling them, from the time that my son's father and I were together, how my mom was, how I was raised, how I was treated and things like that. So they got to see firsthand exactly what kind of explosions I was dealing with constantly. And they changed their mind really quickly. And then, of course, here come the text messages from my mom flooding in. They won't let me see your son. They won't let me this, and this. So-and-so's a drunk. So-and-so's this. Just trying to place blame back on my son's parents and my son's father, on my son's grandparents and my son's father. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to send them the screenshots that my mother is texting me, and I'm going to let them know this is the thing she's saying about them. They read the things that she was telling me, and it was very obvious to them how narcissistic and manipulative that woman is. Mm-hmm. So, in result of all that, I see my child not as often as I would like, but I at least get to see him once a week. My son, anyways. And I can't help but to blame her for part of that. She had investigators watching me and things like that. And instead of helping me as her daughter, she wanted everyone against me. Mm-hmm. So that hurts, That's probably the most painful one because it involves my own child, but I can think of so many times that my mom watched my father abuse us children and did nothing. There's actual tangible proof that my mother knew and had suspicion of what was going on in that household for 4 to 5 years before it ever came out. What woman in their right mind can have suspicions that her daughter and her husband are in a relationship and not do anything about it? That's sick. There is something wrong with that woman.
Absolutely. In fact, and of course, a lot of people have my email, and my email's not a secret. But I was shocked to see that I got an email from your mom tonight. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to read it. Just give me a second to refind it. Okay. So I'm just going to read this. I'm her mother, and this is the email. I'm her mother and am truly disturbed by the blind followers of someone who was spreading serious false accusations on me. Included are 2 pictures of family members she attached, along with more family members, talking about how they visited your pedophile predator monster father in prison. She goes on to say, I have the conversations between you and your sister, proving that you admitted to have called DCF on her, falsely accusing her of abandoning and being a drunk. She goes on to say, also within these conversations, I discovered your sister instructing you on how to be deceitful when speaking with authorities. It also concocted a letter that she filed in court stating that the essay never happened. Sick. I can go into deep detail about there, talking about you and your sister, disgusting, twisted actions. Legal actions are in the works as we speak for defamation, and also profiting from said actions through social media. My oldest daughter is not to be victimized again. I have tried everything with Alyssa, which is you. We were all in individual group and family counseling with therapists who specialize in this field for over a year. She even got more intense counseling after moving here. Saying that I groomed my child for a pedophile is beyond sick, and I'm not going to sit idly by while they invent horrible lies to spread. I fought for all my children's safety. Your sister has lashed out because she is upset that her mother and father did nothing to fight for the pedophile who molested them. There's documented papers with DCF stating, and I quote, the mother seems to be protecting her paramour. The mother is no cooperating with the caseworker. I can go on and on. I feel bad for Alyssa and her sister. I honestly do. The only guilt I carry is ever being with a man who was in fact a monster. The unbridled fear is real. He is the only thing on this planet I will forever be afraid of. We are all victims of him. My oldest daughter being the most victimized of all. I'm tired of hearing how I could have just left. I tried for years, and she put that part in all capital letters. I can and will speak on this. I am done being portrayed as some evil woman. I'm just done with all of it. The sister saying I covered my mouth while watching her father kick and punch her brother is a lie. Not feeding them is a lie. Not allowing them to eat when or whatever they wanted to is a lie. These two coming out on social media talking about the monster he is, but in the background visiting him in prison, breaking a lifetime no contact order by third party. I have proof of all of this. Enough is enough. I had local authorities here contact family members, informing them of what her and her sister were doing that was against the law, and were instructed to stop, or the county would be notified and would result in their arrest. She sent another email, but I'll give us a minute for you to respond to this one.
Okay. So let's start off with the DCF part. So I never claimed to be a perfect child by any means, okay? My father and ultimately my mother as well, we weren't allowed to have friends at the house, cell phones. My sister was able to have a cell phone, but my younger brother and I weren't. As a parent's point of view, I know why at our age. But we weren't allowed to have cell phones. We weren't allowed to have communication with friends and things like that. So when my dad was put away, before my dad was even sentenced, my mother had this man that is now her husband in our lives, right? I went buck wild as a teenage girl. I was smoking weed. I was not the best child. I was not the best teenager at all. And I do take accountability for everything I did as a teenager. However, if I had the help I needed, I wouldn't have been the way I was. If I actually was being paid attention to by my mother, I wouldn't have acted the way I did. So the DCF thing. When we moved to South Florida, my mother no longer wanted me to have a relationship with my sister and my brother, which this is the sister and brother that my dad had from a previous marriage. Mm-hmm. But before we moved to Orlando, it was a great relationship I had with them. She didn't mind me being over there every day of the summer and helping take care of my nieces and nephews. So I felt like I was just ripped away from them when I had just gotten the opportunity to finally bond with them. I was able to have a cell phone at one point, and I made it a point to reach out to my sister and my grandmother on my dad's side. And we had conversations, and as an angry teenager, not understanding everything going on and not knowing what outlet, what outlet do I have? So I was venting to my sister, and yes, I made up some stories, and all I knew was I did not want to live with my mother anymore. I wasn't getting the attention I needed from her. I wasn't doing good where I was, and my sister was giving me attention. So I told her, my mom's drinking and, not doing what she's supposed to as a mom. And I wish I could just get out of this situation and somehow I could come live with you back home in Pensacola. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not contact DCF. My sister did. There was nothing that was resulted out of it. I wasn't taken away. The case was closed immediately. So that's one of the things that I wanted to address. I have never, ever even thought about wanting to visit prison where my father is. My sister, she has gone to the prison where my father is, yes, because she takes care of my grandmother. So my sister is in this position where she's taking care of my grandmother, and my grandmother wants to see her son any chance she can, and has her own feelings on the situation. So my sister takes my grandmother to go see him. Yes, there's pictures of my sister with my father at the prison, because at one point in time, he had manipulated, my grandmother still manipulated, the idea that he didn't do what he did to my sister for as long as my sister said. Not that that makes anything better, but no one ever wanted to get my father out of prison. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted the truth from both sides, my mother's side and my father's side. What truly happened? What did my mom know was going on?
Right.
All the paperwork that you see online now, we weren't able to have access to any of that. So now when we're all adults and it's all released because we're all adults now, we're able to go back through and read everyone's statement and make our own observation of what my mother absolutely knew was going on in the household for years.
Mm-hmm.
And outsiders are coming to you saying, what's going on between the relationship with your daughter and your husband? What person, what woman, what mother in their right mind would be like, that is so embarrassing even to have an outsider be able to notice something like this with your child and your husband and not do anything about it.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what else was said in that email.
I'll just kind of go through it here. So you addressed the prison situation.
Mm-hmm.
What gets me is she says words like sick, twisted actions. There are definite signs of gaslighting and narcissism in this email. I deal with enough of these cases. I'm not working mental health. I don't have any kind of, degrees or anything. But when you deal with these cases over and over, you can tell a pattern of people who are called out for putting victims in harm's way or hurting victims.
Mm-hmm.
So she also uses your sister, saying the oldest daughter is not to be victimized again. So using your sister as a scapegoat, as a reasoning for the email, as to stand up for your sister.
Okay, so after everything happened with the court and the case was closed and whatever, moved on, whatever, My sister didn't want anything to do with my mother. She didn't. You think my mom was at her wedding? You think any of us knew about her getting married until I found out?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why my sister has separated herself. And I can't blame her. You know, I would love to have a relationship with her, but I can understand on her end, you know, looking at her younger brother and sister and mom even, um, being in such traumatic experiences with all of us, it would just bring all that back.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to move on, finally get the life she deserves, and be happy. So, no, her and I do not speak with each other. And I know my mom has gaslit people into saying that her and my sister have this great relationship, but I do have messages from her very best friend saying that my sister stood her up when she flew out to the state she lives in for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Why would she do that? She might be, you know, keeping my mom at arm's length just to mentally make sure everything's okay. But as far as an actual good mother-daughter relationship, I know it doesn't exist there. I know it doesn't.
If you're just joining us, we are talking to Alyssa, and she is telling us a little about her true crime story. She's been very open about it. I'm going to put this whole show on the Big YT. So if you're just joining and you want to go back and watch the beginning, you are able to do that. And make sure you are following her, because you can also go watch the video that she has pinned explaining the story. But she is recounting the abuse that she went through as a child, from her father. And we just got done reading an email that her mother sent to me, which is not a so nice email. I could never, ever, I can't even imagine talking to my kids like this.
If you could
Like,
see the text messages that I have in my phone from her saying, have a good life. And she showed up to my job before when I've told her not to, dumping bunches of pictures and childhood stuff all over the desk. Um, I have video proof of this as well. It's on my page. Um, Texting me that she disowns me and all kinds of stuff. Just she's just a nasty individual. And you know what? Another thing I want to bring up is my sister. Not the one that stuff happened to, but my other oldest sister.
mm-hmm.
She was also molested when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother told her that she enjoyed it.
Oh my God.
She's sick. And she says, I said that out of anger. Who says that out of
Who
anger?
says it? That's sick. You
And
don't
today,
say that.
today, she admitted to it in text message that she said that.
That's sick.
She has an issue.
You guys, I can see your comments, and I've been so involved in this story, but I'm just going to scroll up and read a few. Sadie Lynn says, "How can a mother say she was victimized and then say nothing happened?" Another comment here. Oh, I lost my screen. They're saying there's some supporters of yours in here saying how much they support you. I think you have a neighbor that's in here.
Yes, thank you.
Says you were a teenager that who wasn't perfect at that age and you make mistakes. Pretty much all the comments that I'm reading are for love for you and for support for you. We have a lot of advocates in here and a very strong community who's very supportive. She emailed me again, and your mom, and I showed that to you. And I had to tell her to stop emailing me. I hope that works.
I hope it works for you too.
In the second email, I'll read it. Now I haven't replied to her, so this is the second email she's sent with me without being prompted. Just sitting there. I guess she's wanting to email a bunch of times.
She's seen my
Okay.
video and she knows that, I'm not going to be quiet. So this is what she's doing to try to shut me up.
You shouldn't be quiet. This is what it's about: learning, exposing, holding people accountable for their actions. This email says, just some of the conversations they were having. Now, she sent screen captures of some conversations. I didn't really read into them, but it says to think they have, which she's talking about you and your sister, have decided to be on the side of right now. Twisting words to make it fit their disgusting narrative is not okay. I did not groom my daughter, period. Ask why my son and oldest daughter have nothing to do with her. Thank you for we're going to skip that part because that part's not true. And then you, Alyssa, saying, I never had them in counseling, but a handful of times is a lie. Saying I watched her father beat her and her brother is a lie. Alyssa was ignored by her father. Yes, absolutely, 100% true. I was always at work when things were happening. I'm still finding out things and it's heartbreaking. I really wish she would just get therapy instead of blasting her sister's business over social media. It's wrong to use her sister's pain for clickbait and financial gain. And for you, talking about me, to even entertain it is not okay. This isn't cute. It's someone's life. Now that line, I wish she would have told herself.
Correct. With
when
all
you
of
guys
her
were little. Because these were multiple lives that were affected by her decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's insane to hear what she is, putting out there and making it seem like it's the truth when it's not. Literally in black and white, paperwork that she told the investigators about the abuse with all of us. All of us were victims, not just my sister. My sister is a part of the story. My sister just so happens to be the one that the things happened and my father was able to get put in prison for it. That doesn't mean I'm not a victim, my brother's not a victim, and she's not. She is to an extent because he did put his hands on her and she doesn't deserve that. But to sit there and try to make it seem like me, your child, doesn't have a right to speak on how I was raised and grew up in my trauma is wrong. And she knows that. So she can spin whatever she wants and she can take it to court or whatever. Please do. Please do. I want you to. I want you to. Because when all this evidence comes out and it's all in black and whites and all this stuff, and you finally realize you messed up, and all it took was you to take accountability and maybe apologize for the things you did, your situation's going to be worse then.
Your sister sent an email, and I'm going to read that with her permission and with yours in response. This is the sister that was impregnated.
No.
This is a different sister. I just want to make sure because you have a couple of sisters.
Starts with an A?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's my sister from my dad.
Okay, just keeping it straight. So I'm going to read this email to you all. Hello, good afternoon. I want to first off address the mother's accusation of her defending her pedophile father. I did not defend him nor get on the stand and defend him. Matter of fact, I sat in the audience behind the prosecution side instead of next to my grandparents behind my father. But I did visit him in prison. That was back when I was 20 years old. I look back now and I was just a kid still. Clueless. I've grown a lot since then, read paperwork for myself, and I gained a lot of knowledge since then. No, I did not want to believe my father did such a thing. So I struggled with that. All I remember is how nasty the mom was towards her and her brother, and how conniving, sneaky, and abusive she was to us. So, yes, naturally at first, being so young and trying to repair my relationship with my father, I did struggle with just taking her word for it. I didn't want to believe it. I visited him not for me and not for him, but for my grandfather. He was sick with Parkinson's before his passing, and he wanted to see his family together. My grandparents helped my mom raise me. My father did not. So during this time when all this happened, I was being yanked back and forth between my grandparents, my dad, and the stepmom back then. I didn't know what to believe. My exact words were, I was essayed as a child. Why would I support someone if they did this? I even had to briefly cut my grandparents off, and we didn't talk for a year. That broke me inside. My father's decisions destroyed my family. I had to read things for myself to find out, and I haven't visited him since. I even asked my dad and the mom to take a lie detector, and she flipped out. So yes, I was suspicious of her because of her behavior. It was always off. But I only wanted the truth so I could stop letting it eat at me. So she can twist whatever she wants to fit her narrative. But truth is, me and all of my siblings were victims of both their neglect and abuse. Unfortunately, sister's abuse was so much worse, and I hate that for her. I want to make it clear that I believe her. I am not and will never be trying to get my father out of prison or whatever the mom says that I'm trying to do. That's not even possible. There's so much evidence against them. But I will firmly stand by the fact that she absolutely neglected her daughter and my other siblings and allowed my dad to groom the sister. The paperwork proves it. So defamation isn't even happening here. So let me just say that I was essayed between the ages of 2 to 6 years old by my mom's boyfriend at the time. The mom was married to my dad back then when I came out about what happened to me. So she was very aware of how little I was. Fast forward to when I was 19. She got angry with me about texting my dad as usual and texted me with the exact words, "You enjoyed it." Now, this woman who was claiming back then to be my supporter, so why would she say such a nasty thing when I was such a small child? How could I enjoy that? My point is, she's an evil woman. She's an evil woman and an evil mother. The memories burned in my brain will always haunt me. She hated me and wasn't afraid to show it. Maybe if she wasn't so evil to me growing up, I wouldn't have questioned her integrity. But she doesn't even have integrity. Our family hasn't been the same since this. We all went our separate ways, but I will always side with my siblings. The victims in this case were the sister, first and foremost, my sister Alyssa, my brother, and lastly, myself and her brother. The mom, she says, was never one. Wow. That was tough to read. You can tell it was written from her heart to be so open and honest and vulnerable in order to have to stand up against a woman that should always show unconditional love, no matter the circumstance. And in my personal opinion, did not do enough to protect her children.
She didn't. She didn't. And she won't take accountability for it either. She thinks she did no wrong. She thinks she did everything in her power. Well, she says that she did everything in her power. She was trying to get away and she could never get away. Sorry, my cat.
That's okay.
But when he would put his hands on her and the, law enforcement got involved and a no contact order was in place, there she goes, sneaking them in the back door. She didn't want to get away from him.
It is hard for me to understand, but I see it time and time and time again, where the women choose the men. Now, I'm not talking about because people in domestic violence situations, okay, I'm going to give you a hot minute to figure this out. But when children are involved, I'm picking the children up and I'm putting them on my hip and I'm running. I don't care where, I don't care how. Because when we become mothers, it is our first and foremost duty to protect our children. Nothing else matters. You have to protect your children at all costs. So while I feel for her, like you said, she was in a domestic violence, he did put his hands on her. You have to put your children before yourself. And that means keeping them safe. Keep them safe like you're keeping your child safe. Keeping them safe by not continuing to act like you don't know about a situation because you're at work. Do I have to say the name Madeline Soto in here?
Right, exactly.
She knew.
She knew. She literally said that she had, what's another word for gut feeling? She had suspicions for 4 to 5 years before it came out that something was going on. She said this to the investigator when he was interviewing her. I have it in black and white proof. I could green screen it right now. And even showing her in her face, I don't think she would still realize what she's done. She's a disgusting, sick person, and I believe she should be in jail just right along my father.
I started to ask you, that thought just went in my mind a minute ago. If she's admitted this, why hasn't charges come against her for, I don't know what the legal term would be for that, but
I wouldn't even know. I don't even know where to begin to even try to do something like that. And I would assume, all of us siblings would need to get on board together, and all of us are kind of not talking right now, so that would be difficult. And my mom claims she has a relationship with one of the sister that everything happened to, my youngest brother. Now, I don't know exactly how true all of that is, but I know it's got to be some sort of manipulation she's got going on to keep them right under her wing and believe in a story or something. I don't know, but
Connie Sue asks, where is mom now? What life is she living?
I was going to say something very not nice. She's miserable. That's where she is right now. She's miserable. She's lonely. And the last I heard, her and her husband aren't doing too great. So that's really all I know about her right now. That's all I know.
They want to know how old she is.
I believe she was born in 74. So I don't know how old that makes her.
I'm 40. I'm 48. I was born in 77, so she's 51. Connie Sue says you can't rehab a narcissist, though. Sounds like she is. 52, 51, they're saying. So I'm going to open this up for in the comments for y'all to ask her any questions or any questions about her story that you would like to ask. So if I have not seen your question and you have one, please put it in there now, and I will ask her. Thank you, guys. We have 74,000 likes and 273 souls in this room. Let's see if we can hit 100,000 likes before the end of the live. Mary says, near my age. I know. I mean, I'm looking at this young lady. I mean, my son is 27. My daughter's 22. I could not imagine them not being in my life or talking to them like that or not protecting them, or I still put them first. And I always will. Let me grab some of these questions.
You know, that's the part that upsets me. You know, I get on Facebook and I see my friends with their mothers on Mother's Day and stuff like that. That's the stuff that really hurts, you know. I get to see everyone enjoying their family, and I don't.
Sophie wants to know, does she live in the same area as you?
Yeah. Same county.
Dewey wants to know, how did you get away from them?
I got older.
I started to say that's such a wide question, and it involves many layers and many factoids. It's not a simple answer. Jetta says, how much time did your dad get in jail? We talked about this earlier. They may not have been in here, so I'll let you answer that again.
So originally he was sentenced to life plus 60 years or 30 years. I think it was 2 30-year sentences. And then it was reduced down to 30 years because the judge initially wrongfully sentenced him. So he was able to get it reduced down to just a 30-year. So his release date is in 2039. And I can't believe I'll be 40 years old. That's kind of crazy to think about.
Full of heart and soul says, Alyssa, you are amazing, strong. And if no one told you today, I am proud of you.
Thank you.
Tabby says, this may reach someone else, and you are so brave for telling your story.
I wish there was some advice that I could give to younger people that may be in the situation, but in the same exact situation that I went through as a child, being so terrified to say something, of my suspicions even, I would say that that was the best choice, was just to be silent. Just to be silent and be patient and know that when you get older, you have a choice and you have a decision to leave. There is help. There's shelters.
law enforcement can get involved. There are different avenues to take. But being quiet, I feel like, shouldn't be the answer in that situation. But I was just so terrified. So terrified. I mean, you got someone telling you they're gonna unalive you, and then you start realizing what's going on in the house, and you don't want to say anything because you're too afraid, you know. There was a time my dad was a major alcoholic, and I had this idea. I was in elementary school that I had written my dad's tag number down, and I was going to call 911. And when he went on the road, he always was drinking and driving. And I was going to call and turn him in. I never did it. Because at the time, I, think he's invincible. I see him throw a grown man across the backyard when he's mad. He throws his children across the house. There's only God knows what he would do if I would have actually done something like that. If I would have actually turned him in for drinking and driving. So I just stayed silent. I got older. I was hell as a teenager. That did not help. That did not help at all. Okay, I can address that. My mom said that we had counseling and even extensive counseling whenever we moved, right? Mm-hmm. So when the investigation was over, the state was able to offer my mom a counseling service for us children for a period of time. I don't remember exactly how long it was, to be honest with you. So we were seeing a counselor immediately after the case was closed for a little while. But as soon as we moved to Orlando, the counseling was taken away. Nothing like that happened. I started acting out, and my mom brought me to a therapist for a consult one time, and that was it. There was a time that I got in trouble because I got caught drinking with a friend, and I told my mom I was going to leave her house, and she told me to pack my bags and go. So I packed my bags and I start walking down the road. She had called the police department. They took me back to the house, and I told the police, I do not want to live here with my mother. I do not want to live here with her. I was being a rebellious teenager. And he told me, well, the only way that, you can get some separation time from her for the time being is if you tell me you want to harm yourself. So it's like, okay, I want to harm myself. And they put me in the psych ward. So I was there for as long as I guess you could stay there. It's like a shorter amount of time. I can't remember if it was a week or 2 weeks. It was time for my mom to come pick me up. Her and her husband took me to a youth shelter and dropped me off.
Wow.
It was so bad that I didn't want to live with my mom. When the time came for me to be released from the youth shelter back to my mom, I ran away from the youth shelter. And they allowed me to stay a couple more nights. But I tried everything in my power as a child to get away from her because what she was doing was wrong. Mm-hmm. I was a rebellious teenager, and I needed to be disciplined, but I also needed help. I needed attention. But she was too busy giving her attention to her new boyfriend. So
I just can't process it. Because I tell you, I can remember the day that my mom packed up the car and said, I don't know where we're going, but we're leaving. And I just remember going down the road feeling relieved that I didn't have to deal with his shenanigans anymore. And we went to her friend's house where I lived on the bedroom of the living room floor of a small trailer. And I remember laying there listening. They would play the radio at night, and Whitney Houston came on. Oh, that's what it is, to somebody. And I just remember laying there focusing on that song. And for 3 minutes, I got to escape the reality that I was now facing, which was we were free, but where were we going to live and what were we going to do? But we were safe, you see. And I knew it. And I was able to lay there and enjoy that song. And I don't recall ever being able to enjoy a song at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So looking at what my mom done, I would have done the same thing. And so I can't process a mom not trying and then saying, I tried. I just don't believe it.
No, I don't either. I don't either. And that's why I am where I am today with her. That's why we have the relationship we do, because you can only be told the stove is hot and don't touch it so many times before you don't freaking touch it anymore. And that's where I'm at. I'm not touching it anymore. You can text my phone and you won't get a response out of me. I have back-to-back text messages. I have text messages from her saying, this will be the very last time I ever contact you. Have a great life. And then 4 days later, she's blowing my phone up.
Do you follow Mama Tot?
I sure do. I do.
And you know the story with her mom.
I do.
This is what this reminds me of.
Really? Yeah.
With the narcissism responses and deflections and all of that. Yes.
Yeah, I do. And, you know, any advice I could give anyone that deals with a mom with these kind of traits would be to just completely go no contact. That is the best route to go. I have never been so at peace with myself. Even though she's out here contacting this person and this person about what I have going on here, I'm not communicating with her. It is like a void. I don't care what she thinks. I don't care what she says. I know my truth. I know what I have proof of. And she can't spin that. She cannot spin it anymore. I'm an adult. I'm out on my own. I own my own house, vehicles. I have my kids. I am doing fantastic in life at a young age and have been for years now. And she is jealous of that.
I just can't grasp it.
She should be proud that I didn't turn out like her. Thank you guys for the gifts. I appreciate it. But, I mean, I'm not proud of how they turned out, so I don't expect them to be proud of me.
El Cousin says, Alyssa, please cut the cord with your mom. Change your phone number and your email. Oh, trust me, I think she is.
Yeah. No,
trust me.
honestly, I've tried to get a restraining order against her one time so far, but I didn't have enough proof in my phone that I have of like current texting messages and harassment and stuff like that. So I didn't have enough to actually get it filed to go along with the process. So the only reason I have her number unblocked is to receive these messages so I can have my own little file. So when I'm ready, I'm good to go. My T's are crossed and I's are dotted. I don't respond. I just let the text messages roll in and laugh.
Christy says, I couldn't imagine being jealous of my child's success. I get so excited for my kids' successes. I live to hear about my kids' successes because I want them to have precious and blessed lives. I think that's why this is hard for me to process.
My mother hid my high school diploma from me. When I was 17, I got pregnant, and I didn't go to high school anymore, but while I was pregnant, I still pursued and got my GED. And after I gave birth is when my last test was to get my GED. So I did all the things I was supposed to, and I was waiting to receive it in the mail. And she claims that she was going to throw me this big party or whatever for graduating. And months go by, and I had gone into her room, and in her top dresser, there's laying my diploma. Why would you hide that from me? It's been months. What's going on? You know, she never threw me a party. And my son's mother actually, you know, got me a card and a little cake and things like that.
I don't understand it. It's taking her more. It took her more energy to be evil. Perfectly Imperfect says, in all caps, she is jealous of you. It's just Jamie says, I relate to you, Alyssa. I was essayed by my dad as a kindergartner, and I lived in fear and silence.
It's hard not to be scared and silenced when you're in a situation like that. That's why, you know, even for myself, I wish there was some way I could figure out to help children not be in fear and not have to be silenced in that way. It's not fair. You know, and it's not like you can tell a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old even, don't be scared. Just say something whenever they're hearing certain things come from these people that are brainwashing them. If you say something, I'm going to unalive you. You know, that's frightening. That's scary.
Yeah.
But, you know, I will say this. If there's any kids out there that are being essayed or in a situation like this, and you go to school, you have a guidance counselor, and you can go to them and you can talk to them. And if you just tell your truth and tell what's really going on, I promise they will get you the help you need. They will help you get you out of that situation as well.
I remember when I was essayed between the ages of 4 and 8 by a family member. I know I was 4 because it would happen after preschool. I remember where I went to preschool. I remember getting off the bus at this person's house, a place where my mom would send me after preschool until she got home from work. And the only reason it stopped at 8 is because that's the day me and my mom, and it wasn't by my dad or anything, but that's the day we got in the car and left. And I never told my daddy because even though he was mean to us, he could be mean to others. And I knew that he would get in the car and go down there and commit slaughter and not have an issue with doing that to the person who done this. I have to say, I can relate in that way, but I can't relate in mom being so hurtful and dad doing horrible things. And so you not having a parental unit to look to get advice from, to learn the things in life that you needed to know and to be taught. And for that, I have to say that I'm terribly sorry, and I'm heartbroken. And I appreciate that you are brave enough to tell your story. And, you know, she says, well, don't be putting it across social media platforms. What she means to say is, don't be telling people how I really am. Don't tell the truth.
A fact.
And I'm glad that you are.
I appreciate you. I really do. This is the first time I've ever been able to really dive into what's happened, and it feels good to get it off of my chest. You know, like I said, this is every day of my life. I think about what I grew up in, my childhood, and the things my mother's put me through, even as an adult. And it's just hard to sit with it every single day and think about it. But now, since I have shared my story, it's like I'm moving forward. Okay, what can I do to help someone else now? You know, what situation have I been in that I have experience in that can help someone else now? That's the goal.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good, and it's helping heal me
Yeah.
by doing that.
You know, I was nearly 40 before I started really dealing with what had happened to me as a child. That happens sometimes. It's hard to explain. I didn't know. I thought I was the only one because it was hard for me to grasp. But I can remember the person threatening me and telling me not to tell anybody, which sounds familiar. Or they was going to send so and so to jail for me telling them. And I believed it. And that's why I didn't tell anybody, because I was scared. And so I think when we tell our stories now as adults, it invokes healing in ways that we didn't have as children.
My sister's down in the comments. She said, saddest part about it all is when you finally got away, you still continued to suffer from her abuse.
Yeah. It's because oftentimes the abuser don't want to let go of that power, because it's a power that feeds their ego and solidifies what they did wrong as being not their fault, not wanting to take responsibility, deflecting responsibility onto others, including their own children. These are all signs of a narcissist and gaslighter. And she was probably like that in life to other people, and had no problem treating her children as such. And I think that's horrible.
I couldn't do it to my kids. I would absolutely rock an orange jumpsuit for the rest of my life with a smile on my face if someone ever laid a finger on my kid. No,
Me too.
no, 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 no.
Me too. But I want you to know that if anytime you want to come up to give an update, if you want to message me, I can't remember if I give you my phone number, but I'm going to give it to you. You're free to text me. And I have a good supporting community here who now supports you. If you haven't followed her, everybody make sure that you do so right now.
I'll make sure to follow you guys back when I get off.
Yes. Oh gosh, I just don't. My heart. You're so young. So talking to you. I'm heartbroken for what has happened to you. I truly mean that. I'm not just saying it superficially, because to some extent, not with both parents, but I've been sort of through something similar. And I know a lot of people are in here, they're throwing up red hearts. Go ahead and throw up red hearts for her, because there are a lot of advocates and a lot of survivors in here. And that's where you're going to get support, is a strong community. And you're going to need a strong foundation if you're going to start over. So being a part of the conversation, being a part of these lives, look at all the support that you have. We're going to help you through it.
I appreciate you guys.
These are human souls in the chat throwing up all of these hearts for you. And that will show you that human souls love you. So much love, way more love that was deprived from you.
I appreciate you guys. I always say I had really good examples of what not to do in life.
Well, when I saw somebody unalived right in front of me, I think I was like 7. I said, well, I got to get out of this holler. I mean, I'm like 7. I'm like making plans to move out of town.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
And I did when I was 17. And I
Yeah.
didn't go back. As soon as I could get out there, I sure did. Lauren says, we all can heal together. I'm so grateful for this community. It literally saved my life. Justice for Julia. Thank you for being in here. I see you. Your sister says that she loves you.
I love you too. Thank you guys for being here.
Oh, the next time
Man,
I'm
that was a
live
therapy
today.
session.
Well, I don't have a couch, but I do have a podcast chair back there.
Well, I'm sitting in it. You just don't know it.
Oh my goodness. Folks, the next time I'm live is in the morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to get you updated on the Charlie Kirk situation, and I have some other stuff to talk about true crime wise. If you, Dawn, I'm going to post this whole live on the Big YT. You guys can follow me there at the same username and logo, everywhere. I'm gonna put this on the Big YT so you can go back and watch it. And if you'll follow her, she has a pinned video that explains some of her story, so you can get caught up there and then go watch on the Big YT, and you'll know. Beast and Beauty says you matter, Alyssa. Beast and Beauty is one of my sweet friends. Thank you for your support. Thank you guys for being in here, and thank you, Alyssa, for sharing your story. It means a lot, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I will definitely give updates. I'm sure this is going to get the ball rolling in a direction. So yeah, I'm going to come out with videos and I'll give updates when I can, and we'll see what goes from here.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you guys, you know you do it every day right before my eyes. You're making my dreams come true. I thank the Lord every day that I come in here and you guys actually want to listen to me. I think that's amazing. I appreciate it. I say it every day. Is this real life? Because I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, is helping people tell their stories. And I hope that I'm doing a good job at that. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me. Make sure you follow me on every social media platform. All you have to do is look for the same username and logo. Follow me, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, everywhere you are, there I am too. I hope you have a great night, and text me or message me if you need me, okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Love y'all. Be kind to one another.